Sam.
Welcome back
Good
after
morning, sir.
almost a fortnight. I think somebody is prompting. Let me allow them as well. Yeah, I think we were talking about Factories Act, and we looked at the provisions of safety until Section 26 on the last term that we met. But before I proceed any further, I thank you all for your prayers. There will be some sort of assessment of some 70 marks as internal assessment in this course, like any other course, right? We are yet to finalize as to how we will proceed for these 70 marks assessment. I would invite your suggestion, because that is a major component, and anybody losing out on this will affect their ultimate grade, because the final exam, whatever mode is decided by the university, will be of 30 marks. Internal assessment will be of 70 marks, and 70 marks has to be justified. Like in past, we had a term paper being written by the students on a topic of interest, with mutual agreement of the instructor as well as the student. And sometimes we wrote that in group, sometimes we did it individually, so that we will have to work out. And then we also had some kind of a quiz was given within a short period of time. You were supposed to reply for that on the WhatsApp group vis-a-vis the answer that is there, and the teacher tried and assimilate in that mark you on the quiz whether your answers are right or it is not right. Right? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So that is good. That will be the mode of assessment. I think we should have a quiz, and we should have a small term paper being written by you that will be submitted to me for assessment purpose. But let us first finish this Factories Act first, and the few topics that we have, and we will be having time to do the assessment part subsequently. Now, if you look at this particular section called Section 27 of the Factories Act, which provides for prohibition of employment of women and children near cotton openers. These cotton openers are some kind of a seasonal factory. Sometimes it works throughout the year somewhere. These are where the cotton, when collected from the fields, are to be brought, and that is opened by the machine. It is also done by the manually. You might have seen by the dhunas who used to make quilt and other things. But on a large scale, we use machinery. And this provision pertains to the use of machinery and how children and women are prohibited, because it says that no women or children shall be employed in any part of a factory for pressing cotton in which a cotton opener is at work. Now, it is provided that if the feed end of a cotton opener is in a room separated from the delivery end by a partition extending to the roof or to such height as the inspector may in any particular case specify in writing, women and children be employed on side of the partition where the feed end is situated. Now, this happens because cotton opener normally creates a lot of dust, and that dust is not good for health. In fact, it is hazardous to health of everybody. and it is more hazardous for women and children. Therefore, this section is talking about that prohibition of women and children near the cotton openers. Now, section 28 talks about hoists and lifts. We know what the lift is because normally in India, if you name the word lift, and people will talk about Otis as a company. But what is hoists? Anybody who knows about hoists? Anybody who has known about hoists can tell me? Hello? Hello?
No, sir. Sorry, sir.
No, okay, no problem. Have you seen the construction of buildings, large buildings, high-rise buildings you might have seen in pictures or you might have seen anywhere? And you would have seen that side by there is some kind of a lift kind of a thing which is used for taking material upward, right? They put the material on that and it is escalated to the floor where the construction is taking place. Those are basically the hoists that is being used. The lifts are closed from all sides, but hoists may or may not be closed from all sides. Hoists are internal to the building, lifts are internal to the building where hoists are outside the building, right? So in every factory, every hoist and lift be of good mechanical construction. That is the first condition they have put in. The second thing is that it should be made of sound material and adequate strength. It should be properly maintained and shall be thoroughly examined by the competent person, an inspector, at least once in every 6 months. And a register shall be kept containing the prescribed particulars of every such examination. And every hoist and lift way shall be sufficiently protected by enclosures fitted with gates and the hoists or lifts, and every such enclosure shall be constructed as to prevent any person or thing from being trapped within, and any part of hoist or lift or any fixed structure or moving part of will be enclosed. The maximum safe working load should be written in that. The cage of every hoist or lift used for carrying person shall be fitted with a gate, and on each side from which access is affordable to landing. Every gate referred to in clause B or clause D shall be fitted with interlocking, because without that interlocking, it should not operate. It also talks about the additional requirements shall apply to hoist and lift used for carrying persons and installed or reconstructed in a factory after commencement of this factory. Where cage is supported by rope or chain, there shall be at least 2 ropes or chains separately connected with the cage and balance weight, and each rope of the or chain or with its mechanics attachments shall be capable of carrying whole weight of the cage. And efficient devices shall be provided to maintain capable and supporting cage together. It says that if in case of failure of electricity, there should be provision that those lift should either normally come down to the ground floor where an exit can be taken. And it also says that under subsection 3, the chief inspector may permit the continued use of hoist or lift installed in factory before commencement of this act, which does not fully comply with provisions of the subsection 1 that is there. And lots of other sections are there which talks about the safety of this particular hoist and lifts that is provided in the safety provisions of the Factories Act of 1948. Section 29 talks about lifting machines that is used for lifting equipments or lifting loads, and that can be done with the help of chains also. It can be done with the help of ropes and lifting tackles that is attached to those lifting machines which are there. It says that any factory, the following provisions shall be complied with in respect of every lifting machines other than a hoist and lift, and every chain, rope and lifting tackle for the purpose of raising or lowering person, goods or materials, all parts including working gear were fixed or movable of every lifting machines, and every chain, ropes and lifting tackles shall be of good construction, sound material and adequate strength, free from effects. It should be properly maintained and thoroughly examined by the competent authority for its fitness. Section B talks about lifting machines, and no chain, ropes or lifting tackles shall except for the purpose of test be loaded beyond the safe working load that is being specified for this. It also talks about while any person is employed or working on near the wheel track of the traveling crane in any place where he would be liable to be struck by the crane, effective measures shall be taken to ensure that the crane does not approach within 6 meters of the place. The state government may prescribe rules for a provision of this. And for the purpose of this section, the subsection 3, lifting machines or chains, ropes and lifting tackles shall be deemed to have been thoroughly examined, if visual examination supplemented, if necessary, by other means that is there. Subsection 3. Now it also says that wherever these cranes are being operated, those places should be enclosed and nobody should be allowed to move in that particular area, and the person who are using these machines or operating these machines should be having tightly fitted clothes, and they should also have proper helmet which are meant for the use in factories for the safety of their heads. Section 30 calls about use of revolving machinery. In every factory in which process of grinding is carried out, there shall be permanently fixed to a place near each machine is use of a notice indicating the maximum safe working peripherals, speed of every grind stone or abrasive wheel, or speed of the shaft or spindle. All these things should be prescribed. This is basically for the construction purpose that a machine is being utilized. Section 31 talks about pressure plants which are being utilized. In every factory, any plant machinery or any part thereof is operated at a pressure above atmospheric pressure. Effective measures shall be taken to ensure that the safe working pressure of such plant or machinery or part is exceeded. The state government may provide rules for this. The state government may, by rules, exempt subject to such condition as may be specified therein any part of or any plant of machinery referred to in subsection 1 from provisions of this section. Just hang on for a while, please. Just hang on for a while. Thank you.
Katanya tôi quản lý sụt giảm.
Sorry for the interruption. Now this section that we have is wherever these pressure plants are being utilized, it talks about proper precaution for those pressure plants, and the pressure is specified so that this does not burst. Section 32 talks about floors staircase and means of access in every factory. All floor staircase and gateways shall be of sound construction and properly maintained. It should be marked with the entry and exit. It also talks about the passages should be and gangways should be provided with substantial handrails, and there shall, as far as necessary, practicable to be provided and maintain safe means of access to every place at which any person is at any time required to work. When any person has to work at the height from where he is likely to fall, provision shall be made so that that is reasonably practicable by fencing or otherwise to ensure the safety of the person while he or she is working. These passages should be always clear, and it should be indicated as to the passages should be used in case of emergency, that is like fire, or the lift and other things should not be used during that particular period. Section 33 talks about pits, sumps opening in floor. These are pits are basically in the mines, but it is also there in the factories. In every factory, fixed vessels, sumps, tanks, pits, or opening in ground or in a floor, which are reasons of its depth situation, construction, or contents, or in any the source of danger, shall either be securely covered or securely fenced. Now, the state government may order in writing the exemption that they are providing for any vessel or sump. That sump is basically for cleaning sewage, tanks or pits, or opening from compliance with the provisions of this section. Section 34, the provision is there for excessive weight. No person shall be employed in any factory to lift, carry, or move any load so heavy as to be likely to cause him injury, and the state government may provide rules. It also says that such a factory, the weight should be prescribed for the adult men, adult women, and adolescent and children employed in the factory or in any class of description of factory or carrying any specified process. Section 35 talks about protection of eyes in respect of any such manufacturing process carried out in any factory as may be prescribed the process which involves a risk of injury to the eyes from particles or fragments thrown off the course. You might have seen those welding machines being utilized where these things are to be provided with safety of those persons, and the state government may prescribe rules for the same. Section 36 talks about precaution against dangerous fumes and gases. No person shall be required to allow to enter any chamber, tank, vat, pit, pipe, or flue, or any other confined space in any factory in which any gas, fume, vapor, or dust is likely to be present to such an extent as to involve risk of persons being overcome thereby, unless it is provided with a manhole of adequate size or other effective means of egress. No person shall be required to be allowed to enter any confined space as is referred in the subsection 1 until all practicable measures have been taken to remove any gas, fume, vapor, etc. We also find that under section 36A, precautions should be there regarding the use of portable electric lights. In any factory, no portable electric light or any other electric appliances of voltage exceeding 24 volts shall be permitted for the use inside the chambers, tanks, vat, pit, pipe, flue, or any other confined space which are there. Similarly, section 37 talks about explosives or inflammable dust gas, etc., where in any factory, any manufacturing process produces dust, gas, fumes, or vapor of such character to such extent as to be likely to explode in ignition, all practicable measures shall be taken to prevent any such explosions by effective enclosures. And there is a Department of Explosive, the Government of India, which is basically meant under Section 37 to give certificate if the factories or any other establishment is fit for these. For example, if you look at anybody who wish to establish a gas plant or wish to establish any petrol pump or diesel pump or gas pumps, the certificate has to be issued and the person has to be trained in that. And there is a lot of formality that it is required to be completed under Section 37 called Explosives Act that is there. Where any part of the plant or machinery in factory contains any explosive or inflammable gas or vapor under a pressure greater than atmospheric pressure, that part shall not be opened except in accordance with the following provisions, that is, before the fastening of any joint of any pipe connected with the part of the fastener of the cover, any opening into the part is loosened and any flow of gas or vapor into the part of any such pipe shall be effectively stopped by a stop valve which is being fitted. Before any such fastening as aforesaid is removed, all applicable measures shall be taken to reduce the pressure. Where any such fastening as aforesaid has been loosened or removed, effective measures shall be taken to prevent any explosives or inflammable gas or vapor from entering the part of pipe until fastening has been secured. Now, Section 38 talks about precautions in case of fire. In every factory, all applicable measures shall be taken to prevent outbreak of fire and its spread both internally and externally, and to provide and maintain safety means of escape for all persons in the event of a fire, and the necessary equipment and facilities of extinguishing fire should be there. Therefore, they have got to have effective measures to be taken, that in every factory all workers are familiar with the means of escape in case of fire. It also talks about the state government may make rules regarding prevention of such fires, that is given in Section 1, 2 and 4, notwithstanding any contained in the clause. It says that those factories should have the provision for water to be brought to the floor, and the pipe should be fitted from where this pipe can be operated for extinguishing fire. Fire extinguishers should be there, and all such provisions should be there as far as these factories are concerned. Just 1 minute, please. Now, the state government may make rules in respect of any factory or class of description of factories, requiring measures to be adopted to give effect to the provisions of subsection 1, 2 and 4. We also talk about Section 39, where talk about power to require specification of effective parts or test of stability. It appears to the inspector that any building or part of a building or any part of waste machinery plant in a factory is in such a condition that it may be dangerous to the human life, such factory should not be, such building should not be allowed to be operated in the factory because that is dangerous to the life of the individuals. You might have seen notices that is there that one building or the other building has been closed under this particular provision. Section 40 talks about safety of building and machinery. If it appears to the inspector that the building or part of the building or any part of the waste machinery or plant in a factory is in such condition that it is dangerous to human life or safety, he may serve on to the occupant, to two occupiers of the managers or both of the factory, an order in writing specifying the measures which in his opinion should be adopted for operation of such buildings. That is there. Section 40A talks about the maintenance of buildings that has to be done. It appears to the inspector that the building or part of the building in a factory is in such a state of disrepair, as is likely to lead to condition detrimental to the health of and welfare of the individual. They may issue in writing instruction for the maintenance of such building which is there. It also has got 40B1 where safety officer can be appointed for operating of these machines, and a state government may prescribe this. Similarly, section 41 talks about power to make rules to supplement this chapter. That is, the government may make rules requiring provisions in any factory for this particular purpose. It also talks about provisions relating to the hazardous process that is being carried out, where Constitution or Site Appraisal Committee, providing a state government is considering application for grant of permission for any expansion of the factory involving hazardous process. That is, Site Appraisal Committee or examine and recommend within 90 days for this particular purpose before a certificate is issued for the operation of such building. We also talk about another provision that is there as far as the welfare is concerned. And if you allow me, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay. Hello?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yes. It is easy to get tired after illness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.